Very good evening to all, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is 9 October 2025, Thursday class. So as usual, we will continue our sharing from this Heart Sutra, second edition book of ours. We are at page 172. Okay, so as usual, we will be having our physical puja. Let us compose our mind, develop the faith, Saddha, Virya, then mindfully we shall commence the puja chanting. Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Arahang Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Buddhang saranang gacchami Dhammang saranang gacchami Sanghang saranang gacchami Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Adina dana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami Akamesu miccacara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami Musawada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami Sura meraya majapamadatana Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let us pay respect to Puja. Buddhang pujemi. Dhammang pujemi. Sanghang pujemi. Just remember the four support to help us develop the inner awareness. then stabilize it so that it is ever mindful, constantly meditative. The first support is relax body and mind completely. Relaxation is very important. If you cannot relax, means your body and mind is not at ease. There is tension, there is stress, there is maybe heedless thought activity going on. That's why ability to relax is to be at ease. Body and mind completely at ease without any problem. That's why you can just allow the mind and body to settle down on itself, and you can feel the body and mind completely relaxed, at ease, peaceful, without thought. Ability to relax helps the meditation a lot. So relaxation is key. When you can relax, you are most of the time without stress. Your mind, your physical body is in a very perfect, relaxed state. Then the body activity can go on its own without resistance from the heedless thinking, from the emotion, thought activity. To do that, you have to have this ability to relax, means without fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, lamentation, even any mind state like insecurity, fear, worry, anxiety, all this cease to be. Then, second support is maintaining awareness. Whatever happens, just maintain awareness. Just develop your ability to be aware without thought. Because we are a conscious being, capable of consciousness. So every moment of consciousness, they only arise at one of our sense bases. We have the 5 physical senses: our eye, our ear, our nose, our tongue, tactile. And the last one is our brain, where we can arise thought activity. So whatever arises, it has to be from one of these sense bases. So whenever causes and conditions manifest for the sense data to impinge upon the respective sense bases, then when the conscious mind is making contact at that sense basis, then it will trigger off, like the physics experiment, that respective sense-based consciousness. Take for example our eye, the seeing. It is capable of allowing us to see things. So seeing consciousness will arise. Similarly for the other senses. So when the sense data impinge upon the eye, then our conscious mind, which is the consciousness itself, is at that location. Means all 3 that is required for the arising of that consciousness. For that particular case is the seeing consciousness, the sense data, the eye as an organ, giving rise to the sense basis, then the consciousness trapped inside. These 3, upon contact, it manifests seeing consciousness. So at the moment of seeing, find out for yourself what happened. Is there anybody behind the seeing? Is there an I, a me, or other behind the seeing? Or is it like a physics experiment? Seeing consciousness manifests naturally following causes and conditions. When the three causes and conditions come into contact, which are the sense bases, the external sense data, together with the consciousness trapped inside, then you will start to understand that at the moment of consciousness or seeing consciousness, there is only the arising of that consciousness. No one is seeing. So the famous saying by the Buddha that can lead to enlightenment in the here and now is, in the seeing, there is only the seeing consciousness. There is no one to see, because these are nature's conditions that manifest naturally on their own. So, to develop the awareness-based meditation is to silence our mind, to observe and develop all this understanding. Okay, then I move on to the third support. The third support after relax, maintaining awareness, is to stabilize this awareness, to continue to maintain awareness. Whatever arises, aware, finish. Aware, finish. Don't try to know, don't try to do anything, don't try to follow. Maintain the ability to be aware. Then after that, silence the whole mind so that there is no thought process, no thinking. Any of the sense bases, when the sense data impinge upon it and your conscious mind manifests their respective consciousness, just aware, finish. Like the Buddha said, in the seeing, there's only the seeing consciousness. No movement from the thought process, no sanya activity, no aggregates of mind. That pure direct seeing or pure perception is before the knowing, before the concept, the idea, the words, the knowledge. That direct seeing is from that pure awareness nature, without interference from the memory, the thought process, from your views, opinion, conditioning and belief system. It's just aware. Finish. Then after that, for those who have developed this internal mindfulness or have developed the stability of this pure awareness within, then you can move on to do the last of the four support, which is trust. T-R-U-S-T. Trust your nature within to develop the meditative movement. To do that, you need to completely silence your mind. Then stay at the heart, the awareness. Just around the heart area. Just stay there. Maintain attention there. Then let the awareness detect whatever movement or vibration that arises from there. Then stay with it. Whatever arises, aware. Relax, maintain awareness, and stay with it. Then allow that movement to move on its own, without interference from the thought, without directing it. That's how the fourth support can be developed. And when you are patient enough to let it happen, your mind becomes like suddenly transformed. It becomes like very quiet, very still, very tranquil. No activity, no movement. Because the mundane thinking that living being developed through their heedless living have started to slow down, slow down, slow down, until they subside. Then when thoughts subside, that pure awareness nature that was all the time there can be experienced, can be like developed as an understanding. Then when that pure awareness nature arises, the cultivator or the so-called form and mind that goes through the transformation will develop the understanding and the awareness. Because they will come to know that without thought, there is only this pure awareness within, nothing else. That is the timeless. Because without thought, there is the timeless, thought-free, or we call it without psychological time. Psychological time means when thinking arises, thought arises, then we experience psychological time. But when there is no thought activity, we can realize the timeless moment within. And that one is the unconditioned, the primordial nature that is always there. No matter what happens, that nature is always there. Then from that nature, all thought activity or thinking, creation arise. The Buddha called it the mano, or what we call the thinking mind, the mundane mind, the dependent originating mind, condition arising cause of phenomena. So awareness-based meditation can allow us to realize all this, then come to great awakening. It can allow us to see things as they are, to insight in the phenomena, to awaken, to understand what is going on within our form and mind. That understanding is very important. And through this silent observation, we come to know clearly who are we, what are we, and what is this five aggregate of form and mind all about. Is it a permanent, unchanging entity? You will come to understand. That's why through the pure awareness nature, the nature will awaken by itself. Because that one, the pure awareness nature, can see things as they are, without words, without concept, without duality, nothing. There is the direct seeing, the silent observation of what is the reality. Okay, with this, I will set the alarm for 30 minutes. Then I let you develop the pure awareness meditation on your own. Okay, you can slowly, mindfully come out of the meditation. Try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed for as long as you can. These are the mind states that can help you develop the daily mindfulness until it's very stable, leading to heedfulness throughout the day. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe, in the entirety, let the deities and Devas come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which gives heaven and release, Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakavalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddamman Munirajasa สุนันตุสักขโมกขดังธัมมสวนันกาโลอายังปารันตาธัมมสวนันกาโลอายังบาดันตาธัมมสวนันกาโลอายังบาดันตานะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะอิติปิโสภะคะวะอะหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิจาจารณสัมปันโนสุขโตโลกวิดูอนุตตรปุริสธัมมสารติสัตตาเดวามนุสานังบุตโตภควาติสวากาโตภควตาธัมโมสันติติโกอากาลิโกเอหิปัสสิโกโอปานายิโกปัจจตังเวดิตาบุวินโนหิติสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอุจุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆญาณปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสามีจิปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆยาดิดังจัตตาริปุริสายุกานิอัตตปุริสปุกาลาเอสาภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอาหุเนโยปาหุเนโยดักขินิโยอัญจลิการานิโยอนุตตรังปุญญังเกตังโลกาสาธิสาธุสาธุสาธุ Okay, you all can be seated. Then just relax body and mind, maintain some form of attention. Then we will continue from where we stop. We are at 1.4. How to overcome anger. So that was the question. But before that, maybe I will go back to 1.3 to read to you the important aspect of the Buddha's message on heedfulness. Go down some more. Some more. Some more. Okay. A bit more. Okay. So that part, when heedful and wise, we achieve both kinds of benefit. Benefit in this life and benefit in lives to come. So this is the advice, because the king was the one that asked the Buddha, he said, the wise, bring down a bit more. Okay. Oh, sorry. There is another part up there. Okay, we will read from here. That is what the Blessed One said. Having said that, the one well gone, the teacher further proclaimed. Or the teacher said further. So this is what the Buddha said. For one who desires long life, good health, beauty, heavenly and noble birth, lavish delight, one after another, the wise praise heedfulness in performing deeds of merits. So this shows the importance of heedfulness all these are conducive towards having good benefits in this life and benefit in lives to come. So, if you really want to develop the wisdom to understand life, then to live it, then these are the things that you need to develop. First is, of course, heedfulness. That's why I hear the Buddha say, for one who desire long life, good health, beauty, heavenly and noble birth, then lavish delights, one after another. The wise means the enlightened one, praise heedfulness in performing deeds of merits or wholesomeness. Means when you live life, you are throughout the day mindful, heedful and aware. Means you have this quality of mind that is constantly meditative, ever mindful. And together, the two combined, you become heedful. Heedful in the midst of life. That's why in the teaching, the Buddha clearly states that under Dhammapada verse 21, heedfulness is the path to the deathless. Heedfulness is the path to the deathless. The heedful never die. Whereas heedlessness is the path to the dead. You are heedless. And the heedless are as if dead. So that verse is very clear. If you want to have the spiritual life, the good life, the wholesome life, then you need heedfulness. Otherwise, you are heedless. And the heedless are as if dead. That's why heedlessness is the path to the dead. Means you don't have a chance at the spiritual life to gain enlightenment, to liberate the mind, to develop the wisdom that can end birth and death or samsara. So for those who have the understanding, they will intend on heedfulness. That's why Dhammapada verse 22 follows. He said, the wise one, they will intend on heedfulness. And they, by doing that, will rejoice in the rhyme of the Aryas. So this one is very important. So I repeat that. Dhammapada verse 22. The wise that have the understanding will intend on heedfulness. And if they do that, they will rejoice in the rhyme of the Arya. Means they are destined for enlightenment. So in that particular verse, they say, distinctly understanding the difference between heedfulness and heedlessness, the wise one will intend on heedfulness, and by doing so, they will realize the supreme, born-free Nibbana, or rejoice in the rhyme of the Aryas. So all this clearly points towards the importance of heedfulness. That's why the Buddha said, for one who desires long life, good health, beauty, heavenly and noble birth, lavish delights, one after another, means life after life. The wise one prays heedfulness in performing deeds of merits or live life. Whenever you develop the cultivation and wholesomeness, or what we call deeds of merits in life. So this is what the Buddha meant. When you are heedful and wise, you achieve both kinds of benefits, as mentioned above. Benefit in this life and benefit in lives to come. So by breaking through to your benefit, you are called the enlightened, wise one. So all this points towards the importance of developing this quality of mind that we call heedfulness. And the definition of heedfulness is very important. So I read to you the summary that I have created for the understanding of heedfulness. To be mindful or in sati is to be in a state of relaxed inner awareness or attentiveness without thought. So you can be in a state of relaxed inner awareness and maintain attention without thought. That is sati, mindfulness. Means you are aware. Then you can stabilize it. You become constantly aware or ever mindful. To be heedful is to be aware and mindful before the knowing, to understand the truth or to see things as they are. So that is heedfulness. When the mind is silent, mindful and attentive without thought, then it is in the state of sati, the pure awareness state. The silent mind with inner awareness to cultivate the Buddha Dhamma, thus developing the wisdom of Panya, is heedfulness. So it's not only the silent mind that is ever mindful, but it also develops the cultivation of the Buddha Dhamma leading to wisdom. That's why in Dhammapada verse 23 the Buddha says, the constantly meditative, ever mindful and steadfast one will realize the supreme born-free Nibbana. So this is something that cultivators of the way need to remember and develop the sincerity to cultivate diligently, so that this quality of mind, which is heedfulness, can be realized soon as possible. So here I read again. When the mind is silent, mindful and attentive without thought, then it is in sati, the silent mind with inner awareness to cultivate the Buddha Dhamma, thus developing the wisdom of Panya, is heedfulness. The opposite of heedfulness is heedlessness. And one is heedless, one is hardly aware, and only merely conscious of life, because one is busy, too busy and heedlessly thinking, planning and worrying about life. So much so, one totally miss out on life. One never really live life because one is so preoccupied with one's thinking or thought process. Hence, the heedlessness. The heedless think a lot. We are constantly lost in thought most of the time and throughout the day. So if you are most of the time daydreaming, heedlessly lost in thought, then you don't stand a chance as far as spiritual life is concerned. Means to develop the training of the mind to awaken, to realize the wisdom that can liberate the mind, leading to enlightenment in the here and now. So this part is very useful. Heedful living allows us to be ever mindful of all our mental intention behind all our action, speech and thought process, because you are ever mindful. Then constantly meditative between the silent mind in pure awareness can see and observe everything. That's why the silent observation of the reality of what is awareness-based meditation. Then I will read on. Heedful living allows us to be ever mindful of all our mental intention behind all our actions, speech and thought process. This will enable us to cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path factors of right speech, right action, and right thought. We are following the advice of the Buddha to apply the appropriate four right effort to avoid all evil, do good, and purify the mind. Heedfulness will prevent us from being heedless throughout the day, so that the five mental hindrances of mind can be overcome and finally eradicated. So heedfulness will also enable us to trace the origination factor of the five mental hindrances and the three evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion when they arise due to one's reaction of mind to sense experience. By understanding how they arise via wisdom, we will be able to retrospectively reverse it. With heedfulness, we will be able to put the teaching to test and witness the Four Noble Truths and the law of dependent origination of dwelling, which is the paticca samuppada, occurring within our own form and mind with every moment of mental activity. Heedfulness will also enable us to see things as they are, via our sati and samadhi, leading to the wisdom of panya. When one is heedful and mindful with inner awareness, most of the time, one can see things very clearly, because the silent mind is not distracted by anything, and it is not preoccupied with any heedless thinking. So it can see things as they are. It can be aware of thoughts, mental intentions, emotion, feelings, fear, anxiety, etc. It can also be aware of all the movements, like the specific phenomenal activity or movements, like the moving cars, and also aware of all our physical action and movement within the present moment, etc. When mindfulness stabilizes, it will develop into a continuous flow. Then the mind enters sati. When the mind enters sati, your seeing is in sati. So all this will happen. Your hearing, your smell, taste, tactile, and thought process, they will all be in sati. Then your seeing or awareness will become very different, because it can be aware of all our life, physical, mental, and nature's activity, movement, and flow. The mind is just silent, without thought, and with the pure awareness nature within. One with all phenomena, without thought, and always heedful. When one's mind is no longer preoccupied with all the heedless thinking, reaction to sense experience, etc., then there is great clarity, and one can see very clearly. Just like the saying goes, truth is everywhere in the midst of life and nature. Why can't you see? For those who see, they always see. That is, when one is heedful, there is no thought. Only the senses are aware. So there is a lot of clarity. Everything is so clear. Without thought, there are no evil roots. There is no fear, no selfishness, and no emotional negativity, etc. So develop the silent mind with inner awareness to be heedful always. So this summary is a very powerful summary, very important. Read through it to understand it clearly a few times. Yeah. It will help you. Then for more detail on heedfulness, please refer to that day's recorded talk. It's in our website, brotio.com. Okay, now we continue. There was a question. How do we develop the ability to overcome anger? So this one is always like a problem to many people. They become emotional, violent, angry very fast. Then sometimes they develop what they call the agitated mind, the mind that is not at peace. So of course getting angry is one of the quite common one. And most people find it very difficult to deal with anger, especially hatred. Then also, of course, the related envy, jealousy, fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, lamentation. So all these are mind state born of the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion, and they are not easy to overcome or root out. Without the Dhamma, without the wisdom developed, there is no way. So here I replied. I say, when there is anger arising, what must you do? Just be aware. Don't think. Don't deludedly react. And claim that there is still anger. I still have anger. That is real delusion. Because when you silence your mind, you will realize a profound wisdom that is totally opposite of what your mundane mind tells you. So I read on. When there is anger arising, just be aware. Don't do anything. Don't even go and think or try to analyze or try to develop the remorse or regret that after cultivating so long I still have anger. And that is a real delusion. Then what you need to do is you just silence your mind and sit back to rest. It's just like developing the awareness-based meditation. If you do that, after a while, the agitation due to the stirring of the mind into anger via your heedlessness and delusion, they will slowly slow down. You must see this, and it is the best way to practice. Means the best time to practice when that emotion, the anger, the fear, the worry, the anxiety, or whatever emotion, when they arise, then find out through the meditative way, pure awareness. Develop the silent mind to be with it. Let's see what happens. And great wisdom can dawn upon you if you do that. Then you will come to realize suddenly that emotion slow down and cease. It will become completely still. Means that time the so-called anger or emotion or that fear, worry, anxiety have already ceased completely. Then you will come to understand with joy clearly that if you don't react to stir the mind, then you are in your original natural state of mind before the stirring. And that state is peaceful and calm. The analogy of a pool of still water will help illustrate the point. If stirred by a falling branch or a stone thrown into it, the ripple will start to form. Wind and weather may also create waves, just like our fear and anger appearing in the mind due to external stimulus or condition. A mind that is heedful, wise, and constantly aware will not be stirred by any delusion. Hence, it will be very calm and peaceful always. As habitual tendencies develop over the years are difficult to eradicate or do away with, one will need to be heedful most of the time throughout their daily lives to stabilize the wisdom to deal with the strong habitual negative tendency. When the spiritual faculties of samadhi, which is an enlightenment factor, together with the last enlightenment factor of equanimity, when they are developed, then one will no longer be entangled. The mind that is transformed will not react anymore, and instead it will just flow and accord via wisdom, or accord and flow via wisdom. When you try to share and there is no condition, but then others wants to argue and wants to be right, then you will just say, yes, you are right, and let them be right, because they don't understand duality as yet. So just let things be. One must ask the question, right according to whom? And why must one defend oneself? It is because of the ego, the sakayaditi, that condition one's selfishness and emotional negativity, anger and fear. Understanding that things are just the way they are, no right, no wrong, we are seeing things as they are. Grasping and clinging to sense experience via delusion is the cause of suffering. So this one is a very important phrase. Grasping and clinging to sense experience via our deluded views and opinion is the cause of suffering. Only wisdom frees the mind or liberates the mind, nothing else. With wisdom, one will be able to understand and appreciate life more and more. The other part that I used to explain earlier on is not included here, but I will repeat it. When emotion arises, may it be anger, hatred, fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, or lamentation, or whatever, just silence your mind completely. Maintain awareness and stay with that emotion. Then observe it slowing down and finally cease. You don't give it any more thought energy. Means no more thinking, no more thought energy to cause the movement. Then what happens is, like J. Krishnamurti say, the very flowering of that thought or that emotion is the very ending of it. And when you go through that, you will come to great awakening. Then there is a lot of joy. Then you realize all of a sudden, like what I have described just now, the mind become like completely tranquil and still. The whole emotion like no more. Initially, when you silent, of course, that anger or the negative emotion, even like fear, worry, they will continue to manifest. Just the mundane mind through delusion hold on to the wrong thought that condition is arising. But when you completely accept what arises, Like the Buddha said, whatever arises, there are causes and conditions. So don't try to analyze, reason or think, just silent. Stay with it. So that pure awareness is the purifying force. That sati, that mindfulness without thought is the purifying force or purifying energy within our nature. And when that one takes over, that is sati. Sati is without words, without thought, without duality. That's why there is no more movement. Whatever that comes into contact with sati will cease, because sati is not a dependent originating mind state. It is our true mind, our pure awareness nature. So when you stay with it, it ceases. Then when it ceases, you will realize that anger was never you. That negative emotion like fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, element was never you. Because before there was anger, there was no anger in you. Before fear arise, there was no fear within you. So how did fear arise? How did anger arise? How did all this emotion arise? Like I explained earlier on, if you have been doing the pure awareness-based meditation, then you will see whatever arises, it has to be from one of the sense bases. It is due to your saccadity, delusion or ignorance that condition you to stir your mind at every moment of sense experience. That's how you get emotional. That's how anger arises. It can be from any of the senses. When you see something you don't like, or when you hear something you don't like, then you become emotional, angry, violent. Or you recall something that trigger of that anger through memory. Or something irritating can also make you angry. Yeah. So all these are the causes and conditions behind. So when this trigger of the stirring of the mind and movement into that so-called emotion of anger, hatred, or fear, worry, anxiety, that is what the Buddha meant by dependent originating mind state. That's why anger was never you. Fear was never you. All these emotions that arise and pass away, they were never you. They are all dependent originating mind state, born of saccadity, self-delusion, ignorance, lack of Dhamma wisdom. So when you understand that, then you don't have to worry about what happened. Whatever arises, like the Buddha said, there are causes and conditions behind. Means you have to learn to accept that reality. And you have to learn to see things as they are, like the Buddha's advice. And when you can see things as they are, means you can accept the reality of the moment. Because according to the Buddha, whatever arises, there are causes and conditions behind. And these causes and conditions he have already explained to us through his essential Dhamma, the 5 daily contemplation, especially the last one. We are all born our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma. And we are what we are because of our karma. So when we develop all this understanding through our daily contemplation, reflection, then we can connect and link. Then we understand anger was never me. Fear was never me. They are dependent originating mind state. Because they are dependent originating condition arising causal phenomena, Hence, it's not a permanent, unchanging entity where you can cling onto, grasp onto, hold onto, and say, "This is me, this is I. Therefore, all this can be mine." There is no such thing. That's why attachment to the five aggregates of form and mind, the upadana khandhas, the grasping aggregate, condition, suffering. So all this will become very clear. Then with that understanding, you don't have to do anything. You just silence your mind to be at peace. That's why the quality of heedfulness, which is mindfulness and constantly meditative, ever mindful, constantly meditative, will develop the wisdom to awaken. Then when it awakens, when it understands the anger was never me, then you can come to terms with the reality. Then how do we learn to develop the wisdom to see things as they are, so that we does not have to stir our mind again in future when we see something we don't like, when we hear something we don't like, or when we recall to memory something we don't like, or any sense experience that condition our mental emotion due to our habitual tendency, our views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system. So all this you will develop as understanding. Then reflecting on what the Buddha's advice, to awaken is to have the wisdom to see things as they are, so that our mind does not stir, does not react, so that we are at peace with all situations in life. Which means we have to learn to see things as they are, where everything is just the way it is. Condition like that, things will be like that, it cannot be otherwise. That's why we learn to see the world is the world. Condition like that, things will be like that. We have to accept that reality. Then we act. Then likewise, when we hear something, perceive something, living beings are just the way they are. Deluded one, say deluded thing. Angry people do angry thing. Selfish people do selfish thing. They are just the way they are. No right, no wrong. That's why you can be at peace. Whatever happens in life, that is the reality. That is the what is, or reality within the moment. All the causes and conditions already set. So when you have this understanding, means you can retrospectively reverse the stirring of the mind or reaction to sense experience via acceptance of the reality, with that wisdom to see things as they are and to come to the acceptance of what is. Means silent observation of the reality. That's why don't judge, don't react, don't do anything. Just be at peace. Accord and flow. Because causes and conditions already set, it has to go that direction. The phenomena, the movement, life activity, everything already set. So it has to flow. And that is the most powerful wisdom, ability to accord and flow without reacting and stirring our mind, leads to freedom. Freedom from suffering. Otherwise, our mind will react to sense experience, stir and arise all the wrong thought, which is the negative emotion. So this understanding, you have to meditate. Develop the stability of pure inner awareness, mindfulness. When you have this, then whenever your mind stir or react, silent completely, don't do anything, silent. Then observe it. The silent observation of what is will lead to the cessation. Whatever emotion that has arisen, be it anger, hatred, fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, lamentation, phobia, etc., you just observe it with the awareness within. It will cease. Like what J. Krishnamurti explained is very good. The very flowering of the emotion, you let it flower. No more condition to move. There is nothing, no more wrong thought to condition further fear, worry, anxiety, or anger. Then it will cease. And the cessation is the ending of that flowering of that emotion. And that is what your true mind is. Your true mind before the stirring was just pure awareness, silent, pure nature. And when you develop the ability to be aware and stay with the phenomena will cease, means you get to realize your true mind. The true mind before the stirring will return. And when it returns, you will develop the wisdom that originally there was none of this movement. This movement come about through ignorance, through delusion, through sakkayaditthi, conditioned by habitual tendency that has been developed over a long period of living or existence. So all this is what Dhamma wisdom is all about. So with that, I think we go back to the notes. I think we should reach the end of it already. Yeah. So that part, finally I end up by reminding you all, only wisdom free the mind, nothing else. Because without Dhamma wisdom, you cannot liberate and free your mind. With wisdom, one will be able to understand and appreciate life more and more, and less suffering, or no more suffering. Part 3 is meditation. So there is a question. During meditation, I heard and perceived the branches of the tree, and I returned to Anapanasati. But then the thought regarding the falling branches arise. May I have your comment? So this was what the meditator go through. And it's quite common when you are meditating without the understanding of what that pure awareness is, where the thought inside there is active. So upon hearing, you perceive through your hearing consciousness. And what you perceive is, you can make a concept out of what that vibration is through your perception, mental perception. So it's like, through experience, you will come to know that it could be a branches that maybe break and drop into the pool of water or whatever. Then this cultivator or so-called meditator, inverted comma, wants to know what he do, is it correct, and need advice. Then I reply, this is what you are supposed to see in your meditation. But there is this subtle grasping going on within the mind. Meditation is to uncover all the unhealthy delusion and unwholesome subtle attachment to what we perceive at every moment of sense experience, or with every moment of our conscious sense experience, via our trained mind in heedfulness or silent inner awareness, to understand what is going on in our own form and mind. How we are conditioned into thinking and reacting, or reaction of mind via like and dislike, via our own self-delusion or sakkayaditthi. Why do this thought arise and not other thoughts? So these are very good inquiry. But initially, because they lack wisdom, they lack understanding, most of them were not taught what awareness-based meditation is. You remember in our later part where I taught you all the 4 support for awareness-based meditation, what was my instruction? Relax, maintain awareness. Maintain awareness means what? Whatever arises, aware, finish. No need to go and perceive what that thing is. The curiosity will stir the mind, will create the thinking, the mental activity. And when thought arises, how can you be in sati? It will make you heedless. It will lead to sankhara activity. Then maybe fear, worry, anxiety, or excitement. Then that mundane mind will start to create the thinking, the activity, the movement. And this is the source of heedfulness. Heedlessness. Because when you are heedful, you are without thought. That's why I say don't try to know, don't try to do anything. Whatever arises, aware, mindful, before the knowing, before you perceive. Whatever arises, aware, finish. No need to know, no need to perceive and continue with the thinking. So here, what I have taught at that time earlier on before I teach you all the 4 support for awareness-based meditation is I teach them how to reflect and contemplate on what happened. Why this thought arise and not other thoughts? Well, this is due to your habitual thinking, habitual reaction, and thought activity that you have been creating since birth until that moment. Without mindfulness and heedfulness, all this chain reaction of thought process or pattern of thought process, they will continue to repeat themselves. Where that is your character, your habits. That's why it develops into habitual tendency. See something, react, stir. Perceive, views, opinion, conditioning, belief system come in and stir and react. And this will be like a habitual activity that continuously develop heedless thinking. That's why the heedless think a lot. They worry a lot. They are too busy thinking, planning, and worrying about life, so much so they never live life. So this inquiry is very important. You trace the origination factor of that thought. Why this thought and not other thought? Because most of the time you will come to realize these are the thoughts that has haunted you, your unfinished business, like your fear, your worry, your anxiety, your phobia, your insecurity, things that you have not done with, your unfinished business or activity, means something that is haunting you. And they will appear as thought, especially First Noble Truth reality, which can be your various types of suffering, born of old age, sickness and death, or pending death. Then born of separation, relationship failure, sudden loss. Then when you are with people whom you don't like, especially people who bully you or cause phobia in you or haunt you. Then also when you cannot get what you want, when you project your thought into the future, you create unnecessary fear. When you have remorse, all those things. All these thoughts, they will become active. Then they will constantly haunt you. And when you try to sleep, you cannot sleep. You worry. You have a lot of anxiety. Yeah. Then it can condition you into what they call fear, worry, anxiety, leading to all the sorrow, lamentation, and depressive mind state. That's how people develop depression. The cocoon of thought keep on repeating, creating the constant movement of fear, the worry, the anxiety. And the emotion that come from fear, worry, and anxiety, or sorrow and lamentation, is very negative, full of negative energy. And that type of energy is very toxic to your immune system. That's why it will cause your immune systems to collapse, and it will lead to severe depressive mind states, breakdown in immune system, leading to critical disease like cancer, etc. So these are the understanding that will unfold if you are mindful and aware and you contemplate and reflect. Then I will read on, then you will understand. Why do these thoughts arise and not other thoughts? And we also see clearly how we are conditioned into grasping and clinging, leading to suffering caused by our own self-delusion, our own selfishness, and emotional negativity, born of the three evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. In this particular case, there is this curiosity of mind due to ignorance that conditions your grasping to what you perceived earlier, which is the falling branches. This is attachment to one of the five aggregates of form and mind, and in this case it is the perception aggregate. So the first of the dependent origination link of avidya paccaya sankhara, or dependent on ignorance, sankhara, which is mental activity or thinking, comes to be. Hence the thought or thinking about the falling branches. This is witnessing how your mind functions. And we are all this heedfulness training. You will also witness all the Buddha's teaching, like the Four Noble Truths, the dwelling of Paticca etc., in your own life experience, via your own daily mindfulness, to understand who you are and what you are, including how you function as a human being, how the sense door consciousness and the stirring of the mind comes to be, etc., so as to develop the requisite wisdom and understanding, leading to the subsequent awakening via insight into the three universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So these three universal characteristics of nature, which is anicca, dukkha, anatta, is very important, especially anatta, non-self nature or empty nature of existence. Okay, with that I think we end, huh? Okay. Oh, good. Okay, now you'll continue your second session, which is Dhamma discussion, followed by whatever question you may have. Huh? You can ask me any question regarding the meditation, or you can report your meditation and also share Dhamma in daily life, and we will discuss it. Okay.
Good evening, Brother Mr. Steele and all Kailamitas.
Yes.
Been missing for a while.
Yeah, don't worry. have you back now. Yeah.
Nothing much to share, Brother Teoh.
It's okay. You can also ask question. No problem. Today's topic you can follow, and I think you shouldn't be having any problem. The topic on heedfulness,
Yes.
and how to trace the origination factor, and how to understand all this movement.
I just put a question about
Yeah,
spontaneity, doing
yeah,
spontaneously.
yes,
That is without thought, isn't it, Brother Teoh?
yes, without thought, spontaneous means you don't go and think, then only act. Understand? That is spontaneous. Those that have to think, go through the memory, then only act, that is not the real action. Uh, Acting according to memory is not acting at all, because when you go through the memory, you go through the what they call thinking, the reasoning or whatever, to do or not to do. Then you try to retrieve from memory. So the action is due to your own sakkayaditi, because unless that being is enlightened, then the greed, hatred, and delusion is not there. And then they can use thought. Then they will act spontaneously. They will not like go and recollect or try to reason, then only act. They won't do that one. They straight away understand one. So,
Then
yes, you continue. You
sometimes
continue.
it's talk about autopilot. That is
Oh, that one is different.
auto.
Autopilot is mechanical. You know what is mechanical or not? You keep on repeating, then it become mechanical, understand or not?
But that one can maybe is also without a
It's not spontaneous. No, 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 no. You are talking about reflex action. Reflex action is different. Reflex action is not a thought, understand or not? It's not an action. It is something that automatic happen. Like you knock certain part of your nerve, then that thing jerk. That is reflex action. Means through the nervous system, through the what they call mechanical system, it just move. That's why we call it mechanical. When you keep on repeating, then it become mechanical. Means like autopilot, you use the word. Understand? But spontaneous means you must have the wisdom first. That wisdom come from your understanding, yoniso manasikara. So the moment that sense experience arise, because that yoniso manasikara is a wisdom born of contemplation, reflection, and direct seeing, that one will be in your nature. So at the moment of sense experience, that thing will prompt you, spontaneous. That will prompt you to see things as they are, to understand he is the way he is. Straight away, then you know how to act already. Then you will not stir your mind, react, and develop the fear. That is spontaneous. But the one that come through habitual tendency one is a reaction from memory. So hopefully with this, you can develop clearer understanding. Luckily you asked. In fact, a lot of people don't understand that. Because you all tend to listen to a lot of this sharing, like spontaneous, which is true. The enlightened one, they act spontaneously. Because when you are already very skillful and you understand already, you no need to think one. You, just like any game you are good at, badminton or whatever, you will know how to retrieve it one. Or even cooking as a housewife. When you become very skillful, no need to remember how to cook one. They ask you, how you cook? How come so nice, so delicious? Cook lah. Just put in the thing, because you are so used to it, and you already understand it so well, because you have studied it. you have developed it and tasted it and tried it, then you understand. The moment you understand, the cooking becomes very easy. Then even when you buy your raw material from different people or whatnot, you look, you will know already whether it's fresh or not, whether it's the type you used before or not. Then if it's new, then you smell, you will know already. Then when you cook from the fragrance or the odor that you smell, you will also know whether it is the correct ingredient or not. Then whether you have to add something or whatever to make the flavor back to what you like or what you will know. And that comes from experience and understanding. It's not habitual tendency. It's the experience and the understanding that know how to adjust by itself one. And it's always spontaneous one. And sometimes as you cook, you will know, okay, need to put more salt or what. You will know what to do. And then sometimes in between you need to add whatever. You will also know. So spontaneous action means it is an understanding that has been developed. Developed already, it becomes spontaneous. It no longer need to like try and error, find out or what. No more already. It just know what to do. It has already developed it. So when it comes to meditation, it's similar, but meditation, actually the way it happens is different. Your meditation need wisdom. Yoniso manasikara. And that one can only arise when you develop the mindfulness and the awareness-based meditation. Of course, the initial wisdom can also arise when one contemplate, reflect. So like first turning, wisdom, through listening. Then if you have cultivated it before from the past or what, then constant listening will develop the initial wisdom. Then later on, after you develop the initial wisdom already, then you need to stabilize it. Then you contemplate and reflect on what you have heard, so that you can stabilize the understanding and assimilate that wisdom. This too is still actually at the contemplative level. It's not the direct seeing. It's not the awakening and the insight. That's why the third turning is the Bhavana Maya Panya, wisdom born of the meditative training, the direct seeing, the silent mind. The first two is listening attentively, means some form of creative mindfulness, awareness, attentive. Then contemplation means the creative mind that is without thought, hardly any thought, but contemplate on the Dhamma that he wants to understand. Means you throw up the inquiry. Why did the Buddha say this? Why did the Buddha say birth is suffering, old age, sickness, and death is suffering? You just throw that one up, and that one become like a contemplative object or inquiry. Then from there, through your recollection, from memory through life, where you have gone through life, then it will take you, like recollect the incident that you have experienced in life. Then all of a sudden, at certain moment, the insight will arise. Because last time you don't pay attention, you don't contemplate, you don't reflect. You heedlessly lost in thought, thinking, reacting, emotional also. But now you have clarity of mind. Through the inquiry, you contemplate, you reflect. Means moment to moment. With creativity and pure awareness, you reflect. Then when it reached certain point, it will give rise to understanding. Oh, no wonder the Buddha said birth is suffering. Because when you reflect the birth process, or especially your mother or lady who has given birth before, you know the suffering that comes with conceiving a baby until delivery, there is a lot of suffering in between. Not only to the mother, even to the whatever loved ones, they can also be affected. Then if there is abnormal birth, not the normal one, then there is even more suffering. It will entangle many people. But even if it's smooth sailing, normal birth, the mother will go through the stages of pregnancy, immobility and all those things. Then sometimes there are risks that comes in between. Then the initial phase is the morning sickness, vomiting, all those things. Then later on is the pregnancy develop further. Then you need to be more careful. You cannot afford to fall or even eat wrong food or whatever that can lead to miscarriage, all those things. Then normally those who are experienced, they will teach you, you need to exercise a bit, not to always just sit and don't do anything. But the movement actually helps. Then they also have nowadays courses where the husband and the wife will also together attend to support each other to go through that phase of pregnancy and all those things. Then how to attend to things. Then how to learn all the, what they call, after how many weeks, you're supposed to follow up. The pre and postnatal orders, a lot of things actually. Then not everything is smooth sailing. Maybe during our parents and grandparents' day, we are less, society is less evolved, less developed. Then maybe that time is like, to them is whatever happened, they have to go through. And medical science were not so advanced, and a lot of things were not evolved at that time. So there is less happening also. Because most of the time they say, where you got time to go through all those? Well, they are very tough, like my mother gave birth to 9. And everyone, she carried until the last moment, or until the bladder, the water bag burst. Then I thought baby coming out. Actually, they say, no, don't worry, it's still a time. Then they take the transport and they go. Because the first one, maybe they worry. But after that, like, very straightforward, very easy. So contemplation and reflection is when you go through life, you experience them. Then when you study the Dhamma, you recollect, you reflect back. Then you realize, yeah, actually the birth process is full of suffering. Not only to the mother, to all the loved ones that have relationship or got, I should say, connected to the mother and the baby and all those things. Because it will involve the in-law, the grandparents and all those things. Because everyone got their expectation, joy, and all that. But when things don't go the normal way, then there can be what they call situation where it gives rise to a lot of suffering, like the critical dilemma, when the doctor suddenly tell them, especially those with not a single baby one, you call it, twins or more, their birth process is very different or not. Then some, they need cesarean or not, where it's not a normal birth. Then sometimes the doctor may come out and ask the husband or the wife or the mother, who do you want to save, the child or the mother? And that can be very severe ultimatum. We call it a life and death decision and all those things. So these are the understanding that can unfold. Then when we are mindful, we go through the process, we understand. That's why not everything is smooth sailing. So the Buddha's meaning is, birth is suffering is, this is a reality. Everybody has to go through. But it is not always smooth sailing. According to your way, things may not go your way. And sometimes, due to karmic or other complication, other factor can just complicate the matter, and it can lead to a lot of very unpleasant situation, or even mental suffering, agony, and dilemma. The word is dilemma. So all this is what the teaching is all about. So even birth alone is so much thing to go through. Then old age, another big field. Then sickness, disease, especially critical disease, cancer, stroke, HIV, and the various type of traumatic diseases. All this can actually haunt people, like old age, dementia, and memory loss, and many other things. Then your senses, your limbs, they weaken, and can lead to a lot of accident. Then when you fall, when you are in the more elderly age, it can be very detrimental. So all this we will experience. Then we start to understand deeper what the First Noble Truth reality is, why the Buddha emphasized so deeply. Birth, old age, sickness, and death is suffering when you don't have the Dhamma wisdom. Separation from your loved one, prize, possession, and things that you hold on to dearly is suffering. So separation is a very serious matter. Then the other one is when you are with people whom you don't like. That can also lead to entanglement, suffering. Then you can reflect, you can contemplate and go into it. When things don't go your way, when you cannot get what you want, when your expectations in life are not met, it can lead to suffering. Then the other one is the final summary. In short, the Buddha says, if you attach, cling, and grasp onto the five aggregates of form and mind with sakayaditi, believing that it is you, then suffering will arise. That's why the upadana khandhas, the five grasping aggregates, they lead to suffering. So contemplate, reflect, and see that clearly in the meditation. Then you will awaken. Then you will come to realize that this five aggregate of form and mind is dependent, originating, condition arising, causal phenomenon. That's why it's impermanent. You attach and cling, one thing's your way, which is not nature's way, you suffer. With sakayaditi, self-delusion, you attach, cling, grasp, you also suffer. Then because they are dependent, originating, condition arising, causal phenomenon, it's not a permanent, unchanging entity. That's why it is anatta, non-self, not something that you can cling on to, hold on to, and say, this is me, this is I, therefore all this can be mine. No such thing. And because they are impermanent, that's why he no you, he no me, no reality. And because of that, everything that arises and passes away is so transient. Moment to moment, things arise and pass away. And that is the only reality in life, the highest present moment. Then how real can life be? That's why end of the day is empty nature existence. Whether you exist or you don't exist, the movement is just following the nature's law of dependent origination, condition arising, cause of no reality. That's why no mark, No mark of a self, no mark of others, no mark of life existence, even the Dhamma. Everything is just the way it is. Then when you penetrate all this, you awaken. Then no more delusion. The phenomenal world of consciousness, everything that arises within existence, has no power over you. And this is how we develop the understanding, the cultivation. Okay, your question today is very good. It leads to all this, just from the word spontaneous. So,
Actually,
yes, Nancy,
you
yes.
can see, I mean, through these years, you can see suffering,
Yeah, very
you know,
clearly, yeah. Yeah,
you can see anicca.
yeah.
How you realize that everything is non-self.
Yeah, non-self, not what you think.
Yeah, everything is just
It's
just
just
the
a phenomena.
phenomena here.
Everything just arises and passes away within the moment.
Yeah.
Moment to moment, life passes by. And that is the only reality, What are you doing? Who are you? What are you? It's just a thought arising and passing away. That's why only mano, the mundane mind. That's why that one is a forerunner of all things, mind is she. When that arises, all the creation arises. That's why the law of karma, the karmic conditioning, all of existence, life, Dhamma, everything manifests. So to see all this, to penetrate all this with wisdom, with mindfulness and awareness, is the real cultivation. Not all the psychic ability and all those things.
Thank you, Brother Sadhu.
No problem. Yes, Sadhu.
Good evening, Brother, Mrs. Yu.
Sadhu.
Thank you, Nancy, for nominating me. Brother, perhaps 我讲一下我 Tuesday 的 experience.
Very good. 那个很好。是咯。
Tuesday 我起初是我很久也没有 sit upright 来做 meditation 了，所以就尝试着去做sitting formal meditation。So first 我是 aware 我的 breathing as usual。So 它过了一下子，它就很，就是好像你没有 feel 到它的呼吸，就很快了。Okay, then after that，过了不久，我是觉得我的 heart 那边好像整个打开了。
哇，Sadhu，
它就好像一下子 open up 这样一开，开好像我 feel 到，就是来 open up 这样。
对，你会 understand from your inside。
So and then after that， 它就从很深的那一层里面。有那个 Mahakaruna 的 chanting 出来。
哇，Sadhu，
我可以 feel 到它在很深的就。
Yeah. From there, it will actually manifest. Then it will arise.
Yeah, so after that, 我就 just aware， 没有管它，就
对，给它 like awareness and that chanting, let it move by its own. It will flow by its own, and your nature will know what to do. It will accord and flow with it. Then that awareness and that thing become one. Then the mind develop into a different phase of understanding. Because that true nature, when it manifests with those conditions, it will give you another understanding. And it is very deep and very penetrative, especially all this Mahakaruna or great compassion mantra, all the things. When they manifest on their own, means in the past you have affinity with all these great beings and this type of cultivation, which is very good. Sadhu.
Yeah, then after that. 我就让它转，一直转，我就 aware about. Then after that， 哇，它有一个很 strong 的阿底檀跑出来 ，brother。
哇，Sadhu，很好啊。
很 firm 的阿迪坦哦，我一
，Yeah，
定要 realize。
你前世有发过那个愿了的，
然后 after that 我的 heart 就又 open 了，我就一直哭了，我就不能。
Yeah，never mind，just let it unfold，because 是从那个 nature deep inside 它发出来的，and 那个很强的。That one can be very, very powerful, very potent, and very effective. Well, that is what your nature wants. And 那个阿迪达呢，会 become a reality. Because it is from understanding deep inside it come out.
Radio 那个阿迪坦这一次真的很疯的，
杀掉。
所以我也就是说他那个 heart 那边就是他就是一直在 move， 呀，所以我也忍不住，所以我一直在哭，一直在哭。
No problem. Just let it unfold. And it's very deep inside 它现出来了
对，但是后来有一个，好像有一个，就是我 feel 到有一个，好像有一个菩萨这样烧了我一下，然后然后我就知道 OK，I'm going to stop。就真的很奥妙。
Yeah.
所以我觉得 Radio 的家实在是不可思议。
Yeah，这边的那个 nature 的 energy 不一样的，It is very unique, very wonderful, very unique.
就起来的去 pay respect，所以这就是我 Tuesday 的一个 experience。Baby Radio， 对你感恩 Radio，
感恩。还有什么吗 ？Otherwise 可以 nominate somebody。
Actually Radio， 还有12 minutes 哦。
也 continue 啦 ，continue。
Maybe 我 continue 一点。就是那天我在我的 house 那个，我说我看了那个布达鲁邦，然后后来我就觉得我也是在哭，然后他哭了过后，他那种就是他好像the next moment 你好像 feel 到你的声音是从丹田那边出来这样。
对
，so 那个 experience 让我明白到就是那个就是不是平时的那个怎样讲，就是好像你 deep inside 你 another nature 这样子。的声音跑出来，所以这个也是我的最近的这个 experience， 因为我不常有这样的 experience， 所以我的 thought 会告诉我，你为什么会有这样多奇奇怪怪的 experience？ 但是我知道我 Tuesday 的 experience， 那个阿迪坦他跑出来两次，就是告诉你一定要 develop 你的 understanding until 你真正的 understand 这个道。otherwise 你不要起来了讲话。
That's why that Aditan is very powerful, very beautiful, because your nature will know one. Because this is something that you need and is very useful, very helpful to living beings and your own development, cultivation and understanding. Well, with this type of understanding and cultivation, only you can manifest the work that you want to do for the sake of living beings and all these things. And the whole thing is like a complete understanding that will unfold. 很好啊，沙雕。
Radio talking about 那个就是那天满园不是写了一个 message
对，在你的 house 对，那个she captured it very well. Just the understanding, she stabilized it. That's why she suddenly like there's a lot of joy. When I explain, just like just now I explained to Nancy, exactly similar but different version. Both also very beautiful, but the message is very wonderful. So all this, they develop the understanding. Then that's why Manyuan there and then told me that he now understands much deeper and clearer. Then after that, surprisingly, before the end of the day, she sent the message out. Then when I read, I know already. In fact, Nancy also today one can understand one. When the recording come out, if she listen again, she can also get the very important message and pointer. Then she can actually write out some understanding quite similar to what Manyuan was able to develop. And all this, Kayamita who have the faith and the understanding and the affinity, they can receive one, very strange one. That's why nowadays the sharing is so different, very penetrative. And you continue, Alicia?
Yeah. Because with Manuel message 哦，他讲的分享也帮到他，然后我就讲萨度，然后 after that 就是本来就讲那个对也接受，不对也接受那个。
that one very important.
Yeah, so after that on Sunday 我就去跟我的朋友打球，然后他们在讲certain thing 的时候哦，你会里面有一个 message like spontaneous 跟你讲哦，他们就是他了，你不会去大他们说你对还是
对，
因为对错是 relative 的嘛，他有他的，他站在他的立场，他不是说他对咯。
Right, according to who they never inquire.
是，所以但是我们不参一个意见，不代表你一定对啦。但是我们理解到这个也是因缘法，所以哇，我的说那个一直那个对也接受，不对也接受，不来。
Because that is the reality. The reality is so. May you actually right or wrong is according to the individual's perception. We are right according to who? Yes, it's a relative thing. And it's not something that is absolute. If it's something that is absolute, that is evergreen, then that one, the wise one will understand. That's why now, after you all stabilize all this understanding of duality of the Dhamma, then you all will come to that point where you can see very clearly how living beings get themselves entangled, especially in the midst of life and society. Many living beings, they are like that. And to go beyond this is not easy. To have the ability to accept the reality of what is not easy. But that is the ultimate wisdom. Ultimately, when you have this, you have a lot of joy. Then you see the beauty of that understanding, like what Manyuan went through. Because the acceptance free you. Last time, Manyuan very reactive. But nowadays you look at her, she smiles a lot. She's so different already. When the understanding is there, Dhamma unfolds. Then it transforms the living being. So all these are very beautiful sharing and development, evolution. Very good. 你 continue, Alicia.
就真不容易啊，好像。
不容易。
我的朋友在美国那个 Ivan， 我今天跟他 message， 他跟我说，哎呀，我是一大堆工给我做，然后又不长我的心情，然后他说你先把你的工作好先，然后不要想太多，要不然你是因为你的 mindset with anger， 你怎么能来？
对。
然后我就告诉他
们不能够了解的，
所以我就告诉他，其实每个人的那个刹那的想法是当下，但过了一阵子，可能他又改变，因为我们的 mind 一直在变，所以可能当你静下来，你再过一下子，那个 condition 又不一样。他说是也是有理由，然后我就跟他聊了一下， 我说你有什么你就 text 我跟我聊咯，因为他们在当下那个境界那边，他们走不出来，不像我们有 training，
对，走不出来的，因为他们那是用那个 thought process 去 analyze 的，不是修行，不是 awareness based 的 wisdom 的。They don't do the first, second, and third turning. They analyze. They actually use the thought process to reason, to try to get answer. 做不到的那些，in fact, a lot of living beings suffer, and when they try to develop the understanding, not easy. Last time I remember, a few years back, there was one lady, I think, actually it was Sui's classmate sister, and she, during the MCO, I remember, I think she was with the airline, air hostess, stewardess. Then she, I think that time, MCO, they all were given the VSS and all those things. Then she came back. She also had some issue with relationship problem and also career, because she tried to apply for a job, whereas being a stewardess, hardly worked for other people before. Then when he applied for a job, he find it very difficult to work with people, personality issue, argument, all that. Then she heard of me teaching, because when they were young, they know I teach Dhamma, share Dhamma. So she came over, and for many sessions we talked. I told Sui cannot go in on because all the thought resists, and like a cocoon inside her. She only want to tell you what she thinks. She's not listening at all. Hardly go in. And these are the people that try to use the logic thinking, the thought process, to analyze, to develop the what they call reasoning, thinking that by doing that they can get the answer, but can't. And finally, almost I think get depressed. And when the sister came back from UK, I think Sui's classmate, they were very close, so they try to help her. So all this, they are common. So when they are in that state, the karmic obstruction is very strong. I cannot go in or no. Whatever you say, no use. That's why I told Sui, never mind, just let things be. Then finally, I think karmic process take its course. So I don't know what happened after that, but in between we heard some feedback that she is coping, but not easy to come out of it. Maybe now after the MCO, things has returned to better situation and condition, and maybe she can get back her old job or what, I don't know. Okay, Alicia, the 10:30 just right, so you can summary.
感恩 Brother Dio， 想说，我们要好好利用这个 window， 还有就是好好的利用 Brother Dio 的那个condition 啊，我们多一点去上课，然后 make use of 地方来 develop understanding， 而不是我们
要去 listen attentively, then contemplate, reflect, then the stability of understanding sets in. Then develop the stability of daily mindfulness.
还有 Brother Last Week 讲的那个最 basic 的是最重要的，
对，我跟金浩讲的
很重要，因为你的 basic 做好，你其他的就才能够
他自己会来了的，跟着来了的。
对，感恩 Brother Dio，
感恩sadhu, let us rejoice. Sadhu, 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 with the good sharing by Nancy and Alicia. Okay, so now we will do the sharing of merits. Then we will end the closing puja. Akasata cha bhumata devanaga mahindika punyang tang anumoditva chirang rakantu loka sasana etta avata cha amehi sampadan punya sampadan sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo devo sadukalena sasa sampati hitu cha fito bhavatu loko cha raja bhavatu dhammiko ipina punyang kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yawa nivana patiya sadhu sadhu sadhu. Okay, you all can now pay respect mindfully the Lord Buddha, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and all the worthy ones. Then we end. Sadhu to all. Sadhu.